Try to tickle yourself right now. Go ahead. Use your fingers, your ribs, your neck. Nothing happens, right? But if someone else does the exact same thing, you lose your mind. Same fingers, same spot, completely different reaction. This is one of the strangest things your brain does, and the explanation goes much deeper than you'd expect. Your brain is not a passive receiver of information. It is constantly making predictions. Every single second of your life, your brain is guessing what is about to happen next. It does this so you don't have to process everything from scratch. Most of what your brain does is filter. It ignores things it already predicted and pays full attention to the things it did not. Tickling works on surprise. When someone else touches you, your brain did not send that signal. It had no warning. So it treats that touch as potentially important. But when you move your own hand toward your own side, your brain already knows. It predicted the movement before it happened. It predicted the pressure, the location, the timing, and when the sensation arrives exactly as predicted, the brain cancels it out. This cancellation system has a name. Scientists call it the efference copy. Every time your brain sends a movement command to your body, it sends a copy of that command to your sensory system at the same time. That copy says, here is exactly what you are about to feel. So when the feeling arrives, the brain has already seen it. It registers it and moves on. No surprise, no reaction, no tickle. Now here is where the cerebellum comes in. The cerebellum is a small structure at the back of your brain. It is in charge of coordination and timing. When you reach out to pick up a glass of water, the cerebellum calculated that movement before your hand left the table. It is your brain's internal timing system. And when it comes to self-generated touch, the cerebellum is the part that generates the prediction. It calculates the exact force, timing, and location of your own touch, and sends that information ahead to your sensory cortex. By the time your hand actually makes contact, your sensory cortex has already processed what it is going to feel. The signal gets dampened, the sensation becomes background noise. A researcher named Sarah Jane Blakemore at University College London tested this in the late 1990s. She built a small robotic device. Participants could control it with a joystick. When they moved the joystick, the robot touched their palm. In real time, with no delay, it felt exactly like touching yourself. Not ticklish at all. Then Blakemore added a delay, a fraction of a second between the joystick movement and the robot's touch. That tiny gap broke the prediction. The touch arrived slightly later than the brain expected. And suddenly, it started to feel ticklish. The longer the delay, the more ticklish it felt. At a delay of 300 milliseconds, participants rated it almost as ticklish as being touched by another person. The only thing that changed was the timing. Not the location, not the pressure, not who was doing it, just whether the brain could predict the exact moment of contact. This tells us something important about how the brain processes reality. It does not treat all sensations equally. It actively discounts things it caused itself and amplifies things that came from the outside world. Here is something even stranger. People with schizophrenia sometimes can tickle themselves. Not always. Not everyone, but it has been documented. Researchers think this happens because their prediction system works differently. Their brains sometimes cannot tell whether a sensation came from themselves or from the outside world, so the cancellation system does not fully activate. The self-generated touch gets treated like an external one, and they feel it. This is one reason why researchers study tickling seriously. Not because of the laughter, but because the self-other distinction the brain makes is one of the most fundamental things it does. Knowing which sensations you caused and which sensations the world sent you is the basis of having a stable sense of yourself. Now let's talk about why tickling makes you laugh at all. There are actually two different kinds of tickling. The first kind is a light, feathery sensation. Scientists call this nismesis. It makes your skin feel slightly crawly. It does not make you laugh. The second kind is deeper pressure in sensitive spots: ribs, armpits, neck, feet. Scientists call this gargalesis. This is the one that makes you completely lose control. And here's a fact that sounds made up, but is completely real. Rats can be tickled. Neuroscientist Jaak Panksepp discovered this in the 1990s. When rats are tickled, they emit ultrasonic chirps at 50 kilohertz. Humans can't hear it. but the rats seek out the hand that tickles them. They want to be tickled again, which means tickling at some level is a bonding behavior. It happens between individuals who trust each other. Think about it. You are rarely ticklish with strangers, but with a parent, a sibling, a close friend, just the approach is enough to set it off. Your brain reads the context and decides how ticklish to be. It is not purely physical, it is partly social. Now, here is the part that should genuinely make you think. Your brain filters your reality constantly. It cancels your own footsteps so you don't hear yourself walking. It cancels the pressure of your clothes so you stop feeling them. It cancels the sound of your own voice when you talk. All of this runs on the same prediction system. The cerebellum is constantly modeling you. It knows where your body is in space. It knows what you are about to do, and it pre-cancels any sensation that comes from your own actions. This means your experience of reality is already heavily edited. Most of what happens to your body, your brain has already decided you don't need to know. You only experience the parts the brain flagged as new, unexpected, or worth your attention. Tickling survives the filter because it cannot be predicted by you. Your brain has no model of someone else's hand. No prediction, no cancellation. Full sensation. So the next time someone gets you and you completely lose control, that is not a weakness. That is your brain doing its job. Flagging something it did not expect. Treating the unknown as worth paying attention to, which is actually what has kept humans alive for a very long time. The reason you cannot tickle yourself is the same reason you can navigate the world without being overwhelmed by your own body every second. Your brain trusts you. It just does not quite trust everyone else. And that difference right there is why tickling exists.